Hello, everybody. My name is Eddie Cole. Oh, it's not. My name is Tony Cole, and this is the Foxway Studios podcast, joined today by Eddie Cole.
Hello.
Whoa, whoa. Now that's a mind fuck.
Yeah.
So, the start of every episode, you always put us through a lot of torture. You make us
Mm,
introduce ourselves.
yes.
So, we cannot skip that part. So, go ahead, please.
Okay. Um, I am Eddie Cole, as you said. I am an actor and mainly an actor on Foxway Studios, and
Your IMDb says that you're also a cinematographer.
yeah, it also probably says that I'm also a writer because I think I have the writing credits of Million Dollar Pill. Uh, I have also edited half of one video. Uh,
That's right.
Yes, the Club of Friends Christmas, yeah, that one.
That's right.
Um, Other than that, I'm Tony's brother here. Uh, I
7 years apart.
I manage the Foxway Extras channel. I also have my own channel. I will plug that in probably in the end.
Yeah,
Uh,
there. Yeah, don't get ahead of yourself.
yeah,
I'm the host
I
here.
won't. Uh, but yeah, I manage Foxway Extras and I act on Foxway Studios. That's a conclusive
And you are the host of
description.
this podcast.
Yes, I am the host of most of the episodes.
Yeah, except for this one.
Yeah.
I run the show now.
Mhm.
I am the network. All
So,
right, but yeah, that's a pretty cohesive introduction, I'd say.
mhm.
Because you always comment on how good of an introduction we made. You should start scoring them.
Yeah,
Like,
from like
yeah,
4 to 10 or whatever the Americans use, A to F or whatever,
yeah,
give scores.
A to or
Yes.
Swedish. Oh,
Yes.
yes, that's perfect. All right. Well, I wanted to start you off like kind of just like I said briefly, we are 7 years apart in age,
Mm.
and I recall this very well. I don't know how well you recall this, but how you got into movies. That
Ooh.
that happened from my perspective. That's 15 years ago, or well, not exactly 10 years ago.
Mm.
But for you, you were quite little, so I don't know how well you remember. But tell me about your how you fell into in love with movies and how you started making movies on your own at first.
Oh, that's a pretty tough question because I don't exactly remember when I started acting in it, like your some films. I probably was like 3, maybe 4 at
I don't know
most.
about that, but I want your perspective.
Mm. Oh, so do you mean
I
like
Yes, I'm milking for something very specific here.
oh
You
uh
know, you know, I always tell the story about how I fell in love with movies through James Bond. Now you had a
oh
very different kind of
oh
hero.
Oh yes, of course. I think I know what you mean.
Yeah,
This specific hero goes by the name of Indiana Jones. That's the hero I fell in love with when I was probably like 4. I think I watched the movies back then. I probably watched all of them like at least 10 times since. That's the first time I've actually like really watched some movies that made me absolutely fall in love with them. Um, yes.
yeah, yeah. I remember you were like just like I was when I was a kid. I watched James Bond films twice a day at least. That was
Yeah.
new with Indiana Jones
Yeah.
back then.
I hope that's what you meant because
Yeah, of course.
yes.
Yeah, that's yeah. Think it's kind of funny. Well, yeah, I had James Bond and you had Indiana Jones, but kind of the story is similar because I started making my own James Bond fan films first thing when I saw the
Mm.
films. But now we get into what you did once you saw Indiana Jones,
Yeah,
and you had a pretty ambitious project, I
I
would say.
actually remember that it was pretty much like I was a 40-year-old director. It was like uh basically just a remake of the Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I would actually remember that I of course ordered you to edit the whole film. I would
Yeah,
remember that you said back then that it was actually like 40 or 50 minutes long, the whole
yeah.
thing.
I
So,
remember there was material for like an hour and 20 minutes or something, and then I
mm,
told you that it would be about 40, 50 minutes
oh
edited.
yes.
Yeah, that was yeah. You shot quite a lot of material, and back then I saw it as a threat, but now it would be interesting to kind of see how everything would have turned out if you had
Mm.
actually finished them. But you told me that you were planning to do all four movies.
Oh, I don't remember that, but I probably, yeah, I was an ambitious kid probably.
Yeah, yeah. Think about that. That's 10 or 11 years ago.
Mm, yeah, holy.
Yeah, but I yeah, but I remember remember making those, and you had the whole family running around,
Yeah,
getting whipped by you.
I kind of remember that. Yeah, it was one of those movies where it was me, you, and our parents as the actors.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mm.
yeah, and I remember you had a pretty nice catch for locations. You had an eye for locations because we went on a vacation to that cottage, and it was kind of similar to the place that Jones meets the woman
Yeah,
in. Yeah, it was a kind of a similar kind of cottage, and you were like instantly saying that, yeah, we must film that scene here.
yeah. Oh, actually, that's kind of cool. I don't think I remember that, but yeah.
Yeah, and you had a very big dilemma there because you had one scene. You were shooting everything chronologically,
Mm. Oh.
and you had one scene to go before that, so you went outside on your own, and you just kind of rolled around there in the yard of the cottage and filmed
Mm.
the one scene that you had because you were watching them on your camcorder,
Oh.
just going through all the footage like that, and that was how you watched your movie. And then you always, like, they were outtakes, you removed them because you were just watching it from there. I
Mm.
know that you are supposed to be talking now, but these are so old that you don't
Yeah, yeah.
remember.
I don't remember these things at all. Like I very vaguely remember filming the original, the Indiana Jones remake. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. And one more thing about the Indiana Jones remake, I remember when we got to the ending, there's some kind of a bazooka scene, like a rocket launcher scene.
yeah, that's exactly the thing I vaguely remember about that. But yeah, go ahead. You're probably going to explain it better.
But yeah, you had a broom for a
Mm,
bazooka.
that's
I'm not sure if it was a broom or a rake, but whatever
it
it
was a
was,
broom. It was a broom. I remember that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and we were shooting it indoors, of course.
Mm,
But you also had like a good reasoning for that because the walls, we had different wallpaper than we do
mm,
now. They were like kind of yellowish,
mm.
and the scene is quite yellow because they're in night in the scene. So yeah, that was the reasoning that it must be shot indoors.
Yes, of
I
course.
remember, I remember our father actually offered to take us to the gravel pit,
Oh.
but you were insistent on filming indoors
Yeah, it would have
because
been.
because the lighting was so good.
It actually would have been really good on the gravel pit, or we could have made it a lot easier by just going like 20 meters to the left of our
Yeah,
house and went to the uh,
the
fucking
football
field,
field.
whatever
Yeah,
it's yeah.
yeah. But hell, I wish we had that footage somewhere
Mm, yeah.
because it probably exists on some like long lost memory card somewhere,
Mm,
but no idea where that could be. But
yeah, it's
hey, all right. Yeah, let's move on from Indiana Jones. We're kind of going to get back to this later a little
okay.
bit, but
Oh
uh,
yeah, right.
yeah, I wanted to ask you how did you learn about Foxway Studios? Like, what was the moment you realized like what I was doing with my friends?
Mm. Do you mean like Foxway Studios as the channel or the whole
Well,
thing
like the
itself?
whole thing, like if you don't know by now, Foxway Studios has existed like 11 years before YouTube,
Mm.
before we were on YouTube. No, we didn't do this in the 90s, but no, uh, yeah, Foxway Studios was kind of formed in like 2004, basically, but we only went to YouTube in 2015. Well, you can tell both sides to this. Like when did you like realize that we were like running this semi amateur professional thing, and when did you learn about the YouTube thing?
Mm. Okay, I would have to go really far back if I were to remember the whole original, but I think I remember sometimes like seeing you guys like go around and film something on the yard or whatever. But
Yeah.
those are just very vague memories. I have a really bad like long term memory. But
Yeah.
yeah, about the creation of Foxway. I think I saw the very first films when they were published, when you probably showed
Yeah.
them to me, I would guess. And
Yeah, I don't recall, but yeah.
I think you showed them, and I don't know. I mean, it was probably at that time. It probably wasn't that big of a deal, I guess. Uh, because back
Well,
then I
well,
wasn't like a big fan of Foxway Studios or anything, but uh,
you were really a big fan of movies around then, I'd say.
yeah, yeah, I'd
You were
agree.
pretty focused on making it as a professional Geometry Dash player.
Yeah, probably. I think so.
Well, but that's kind of a bridge to the next one. Like when did you really like get into it, and how did that happen?
Into movies or into Foxway Studios?
Into Foxway Studios. We can talk about movies later.
I think it was probably around probably around when I got into Foxway Studios, but I actually remember that there was like a big point where probably during the publishing of Rogue Albion, maybe when I really
Yeah.
got into the films and watched many of Foxway Studios films, they kind of went by, and then probably the next time I uh, got into watching the films was probably when I got into acting. Actually, I wanted to. I don't think I have ever told you this, but the first time I saw Diamond Cutter was when you said to me that you wanted me to act in End of the Line. That's the first time I saw it.
Ah.
So it was like a
Okay.
year later after it was actually published, and I'm sorry about
Well,
that,
not
but
quite a year.
well, not a year, but like
A couple of
well,
months,
yeah, a
maybe.
couple months, but yeah, because
Yeah, because
I usually still watched all of them when they were published, but
yeah,
in Diamond Cutter's case, I didn't.
yeah, yeah, and that's funny. Like I know a couple of people like from the LIF or some that have like seen Diamond Cutter only recently for the first time.
Mm,
Like that's it's kind of funny. I don't know. Like it's got good like numbers on YouTube. Like it's hard to see why somebody would have missed it
mm.
like back then. But yeah, I don't know. Not that it really matters, but yeah, it's just
Yeah,
funny to think
I
about.
by the way saw that End of the Line has gained a, how do I say this professionally, a fuck ton of views like recently, because I saw that
Oh
it
yeah.
went up from 2,600 to 3,100 in like a month or something.
Oh, that's nice. Perhaps we need to capitalize on that.
Yes, of course. End of the Line 2.
Right. Like that's a great idea.
Yes, of course.
And meanwhile, I start writing that down immediately. Yeah, yeah. You mentioned many times about when I asked you to be in End of the Line, and I know you've covered this before, but like, tell me about that a little bit. Like you,
I think I
yeah,
actually talked about this in the first episode
yeah,
of the
you did.
podcast a bit.
I'm just milking for more
Yeah,
content.
I'll talk about it a bit more because it's fun. Because that was the time when I think I rewatched the whole Jack Stone series and I was like, wow, holy shit, this is actually pretty good. And I was like, oh my god, I'm actually gonna be a part of this, and it was kind of amazing. Although well, of course, I would say that my part in End of the Line is probably just as important as Jack's. But I know that many would argue that Jim probably isn't that important of a character. So although my role was in that sense kind of small, it was still kind of amazing to portray that role. Uh,
Yeah,
just for the sake of being in a Jackstone.
yeah, yeah. No, it kind of well, it was the uh, I'm looking at the word. Well, it was the genesis for you
Mm.
in the films, and
And
yeah, it's
I
and
actually,
it's still an important part.
I actually, I, I'm pretty sure it's actually the first one I've been on because it,
Yeah, well, you
it
were the
was,
henchman in the ditch so
yeah,
far.
yeah, but though, yeah, the ditch that was filmed. Yeah, of course, that was filmed before, but like actual role probably End of the Line. That scene was filmed before Nicholson and Iron Curtain.
Yeah,
I'm
it
pretty
was.
sure.
Yeah, it was.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, that's yeah, it's a pretty cool story, and I just remember like back then we weren't kind of sure. Like I was kind of like considering. Actually, yeah, this is a new story. I was kind of considering cutting the Jim character
Oh,
and just having like a guard without a name and no lines and stuff instead there. Then I like well, Eddie speaks great English for someone his age, especially. He's already been in the ditch. He likes acting and
mm,
whatnot. And well, yeah, it was just an obvious choice to ask you. And yeah, like I've said many times before, like it's unbelievable that there has been a time that you weren't in everything we did. Because now I couldn't imagine making films without you.
mm.
Well, in some way at least.
Holy shit, you were about to cut Jim from End of the Line.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, he ended up being a
Well,
legend. So,
um,
well, not exactly in the LCU, but
oh yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah, all right. Around that time, you had a couple of other roles with a name and a few lines. Like, tell me a little bit about Anton Ananyev and Frank Butler, who were
uh,
your next two roles.
uh, Frank. Well, I'll start with Frank, I guess. Uh, it's a very essential character to the story of Nicholson. I just kind of stand around there and pick up the AK from Petrovich. Yeah, Petrovich. That's his name.
Yeah,
And
yeah, but think about Nicholson without Frank.
yeah,
It just doesn't work.
yeah.
The ending doesn't
The
make
the
any
whole
sense.
the whole thing falls apart.
Yeah, it kind of does if you really think about it.
uh, well, yeah. To the Butler, probably not much else to add to that. But Anton Ananyev, I think I can probably talk a bit more about him because he was the actual first character that I had to put some sort of emotion, I guess, into
Yeah,
portraying him. And it's the one role that I kind of look at pretty badly. I don't. I'm not very
yeah,
proud of my portrayal of Anton, but I mean, it all has to start somewhere. Right?
yeah, and it's your first attempt at doing
Mm,
doing like a serious role where you actually
mm,
have to do something other than pick a gun off the floor
yeah.
and say sir.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah, it's yeah, like you said, everybody has to start somewhere.
mm.
Like now, I'll fast forward a little bit and go to a bigger role of yours
No.
because Civil War 4
Woo! Civil
was a
War
big
4.
moment for you
Yeah.
because that was like you had a couple of like couple of smaller roles in between there, and you did some camera work. you were in Jace Harris, and you were,
Mm,
well, yeah, I guess you were in Jace Harris,
mm,
and then you were in Civil War 4, and that's like a big jump. Like you were playing these supporting stock characters, and now you're suddenly the villain.
mm.
How do you feel about Civil War as a whole, and how did you like that experience?
Uh, Civil War 4 was probably along Smith and Jones, well, probably after Smith and Jones, one of the most fun experiences I've had. And No Man's Land. No Man's Land definitely was also fun to film.
Yeah,
But because I was every single one of the clones that was
yeah,
in the movie. I portrayed every one of them. Then I also portrayed myself in that, or Eddie, I guess, in that.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
got
It's
to,
not exactly you.
yeah, it's not exactly me, but it's kind of me.
It's kind of a parody of yourself.
Yeah, uh, I got to die a lot.
Yeah, but you also got to kill a lot.
Mm. I also got
Yeah,
to kill all of you. Uh,
yeah. That's was a pretty cruel movie, and you had a lot of action there.
yeah, I did.
I really liked it. I really liked filming your fight with Eric.
Yeah, that was a
Uh,
cool fight.
yeah, and was like it was a really new and unique pairing.
Mm.
Like, yeah, of course, you actually had like a scene with him in End of the Line, but
Yeah.
like you and Eric fighting. That's that's something that I
Mm.
didn't like see first thing when I started thinking about that film.
Yeah. I like that fight, and that one camera trick is so cool, I think.
Yeah, yeah, the spin is pretty nice. How about you are expecting to return as Eddie and his clones soon enough, maybe?
Oh yeah, hopefully. I
Yeah,
hope so.
yeah. There will be some news about the continuation of the Civil War
Yeah,
franchise soon enough, I think.
it's probably pretty clear that there's gonna be a sequel, and there's probably always gonna be a sequel of Civil War,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, so,
There
some more
always will
news
be.
coming at one point
Yeah.
or another.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just drinking water. That's why my
Yeah.
voice deepened
Yeah. Me too.
suddenly.
Yeah, you weren't just going through sudden puberty.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like that. Okay, well, let's go forward from Civil War. I'm just kind of going like
Mm,
from a bullet point list here.
know
But
that.
yeah, you were the villain in Civil War 4, but
Mm.
then right in your next project, you were suddenly playing the protagonist. Tell me about Edwin Jenkins and Million Dollar Bill. That's like your first starring role.
Yeah, actually, now I'd say after Civil War 4, No Man's Land, and Smith and Jones, my favorite portrayal is Million Dollar Bill. I'm very like competitive about these, but
Yeah.
anyway, Million Dollar Bill was kind of fun to. Was it one of those films that we actually did on a day, or was it 2 days it took to
No, yeah,
film?
we did it in a day. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was like 2 or 3 hours. The
yeah.
whole thing,
Uh, it was fun.
including the writing.
Yeah. Which
You wrote it, yeah, or well, you guys wrote it. You and
Y-
Osiris wrote it,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, pretty much. The idea was Tony's, and we just wrote it down. But yes,
Yeah, I was just basically going on and on about the story, and you guys were trying to keep up with me and writing it down. But
uh,
yeah, yeah, you wrote it, and then we
mm,
shot it, and then it was released next week.
yes.
It's
Uh,
almost been a year now since that.
oh
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
holy shit! It's actually
yeah,
just the anniversary of Million Dollar Bill is in 5 days. Huh?
yeah, exactly.
Oh well. Uh,
But yeah, you were saying.
anyway. Well, I don't know. It was a fun role to play. Uh.
Yeah, it's kind of a different film in many
Oh
ways from
yeah,
what you've done.
it's actually a very unique film, kind of. Is it the only black and white film
I
on
think it
our?
is.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah, it's the only black and white film we've done. But not only that, it's kind of like also uses the same locations that we always use, but
Mm,
in a like a new way.
mm,
Because the sauna is kind of used differently than usually, and
mm.
the bathroom is used differently, and then your room, it's also kind of different. It's, yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
yeah, and the whole thing is kind of different. We hadn't done a private investigative thing. We had soldiers and cops and like spies in all of our films, but Private Eye, that was new.
Yeah, it was. It was a fun
Yeah,
film.
yeah, and it was also like a crime themed, and I'm looking to do a lot more crime films soon because we've done the spy genre a lot. But
Mm,
yeah, crime's always fun to do,
yeah.
and it always gives a little bit more room for like comedy and stuff.
Um,
Yeah, that was also the first in like a series of, I like to call them the Eddie films, like films starring
mm.
you, and Faked was up next, and
Would
well,
you?
I guess that's sad
Yeah, well, I guess Evan Roscoe
so
should
far.
be counted as its own thing.
Yeah, it's definitely its own thing, but now that you mentioned it, why don't we get to Evan Roscoe? Like, tell me
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, Evan Roscoe. Holy hell, I'm bad at this. Evan Roscoe was also a fun character to portray. I think I actually did it pretty well. I'd
Yeah,
say now
I'd say
looking at.
that's my favorite portrayal from you.
Oh, eh, hey.
It kind of depends, but he's brash and he's witty, and
Mm,
it's kind of it's a little different from especially like our other spy stuff.
mm,
I mean, like we have White Book the Gentleman, and we have Jack Stone, who's a true badass and like a real rough guy, and
mm,
then there's like well, Jace Harris. He's a total goon and
mm,
a fool,
uh,
basically. But Evan Roscoe is kind of a mix of them all in that sense. He's got a sense of humor, but
mm.
he's also pretty damn tough and ruthless.
Yeah, as you said, yeah, it's probably my second favorite role of mine after Jones, probably. But yeah, it was I'd say I did well, and it, it was also one of those films we did in a day, I think, and it
Yeah,
was
and
a
that's kind of the magic of Evan Roscoe. I'm planning on keeping that series like a very short every entry and every film, so that we made it in a day or so. It's like
yeah.
keep the magic of that, and kind of like really go old school on that. Like back in the
Uh,
day, we always did every film in one day.
mm, yeah.
But yeah, you mentioned many times No Man's Land, and we've told many stories about that
Ooh,
film. But yeah,
yeah.
you played Justin Johnson there, and yeah, I like you said, it was fun. But
The whole filming process was probably one of my favorites of all time. But it wasn't only fun; it was also a pretty hard filming day. Actually,
yeah,
although it sounds kind of weird, this was also one of the films that was mostly recorded in one day. The speaking sequence in the beginning was filmed after the actual film, but it was
yeah,
mostly recorded in that one day. We were there for maybe like 8 hours or something like that, maybe
yeah.
7, something like that. And
I think it was 6 hours that we spent in the
oh
travel
well,
phase.
yeah. Anyway, it was
Yeah,
really a tough film because it was really hot. We were kind of running out of water, or actually we weren't. We had plenty of water in the car, but no one bothered to go there. It was
yeah,
really.
and we were covered in ants.
Yeah, I was about to mention the ants. The ants were terrible. They holy hell, all kinds of insects and bugs and whatever, mosquitoes and ants. They're always the worst when filming outside.
Yeah, but it's also one of the most fun films to look back on.
Yeah.
Like it's just like that. Like I've said this about Master of Death, but I'm also gonna say that about No Man's Land. That's one of the films that like has retained its value over time a lot.
Mm,
Like it's still something that I have a lot of fun going back to watch. It's got some of our greatest cinematography.
yeah.
Alex did a fantastic job with the camera there, and of course the location does a lot.
Yeah, the gravel pit is holy hell. It should be placed in like a uh, in a oh, what was I gonna say? It should be given like a fucking honor badge of Foxway
Yeah,
Studios. It's just how many movies have we actually made there? Because now that I think about it, there might not be that many. Because I firstly
mhm.
was thinking that we have filmed like probably half of our films there, but
No Man's Land, Diamond Cutter.
mm.
Mm,
Hold on, was Price of Betrayal there?
yeah,
Yeah, Price
yeah,
of Betrayal. Mm.
that's what I was thinking about. Yeah, yeah, it's only those three.
Mm.
But yeah, the plan is to film other stuff there too because it fits so many things,
Mm.
and that's the beauty of it. It really like has many uses.
Yeah. Yeah.
We do have some unused footage shot there, but I won't mention any of that because like there's still plans to use it somehow, and it's gonna be a surprise whenever that happens. So,
Yeah. There were a lot of great stories from the filming of No Man's Land. Also
yeah,
some
and yeah,
also
there are
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, there's like on the other episodes of the podcast. So if you are interested in hearing those stories, please
Mm.
go back to those.
Yes. Uh yeah, but there is a mystery that we have yet to solve about the recording of No Man's Land. A friend of mine commented on the uh, video that there was a fox somewhere in the background, and I've tried to search through the whole goddamn video, and I haven't seen a single fox anywhere.
Yeah,
I
I still don't know if she was referring to the intro, like
y-
where our logo is kind of
yeah.
dark,
Yeah, it
or if
might
there
just
is
be
an
like a
actual fox.
Foxway Studios reference or something like that. But I refuse to believe that. I'm pretty certain that there's a fox somewhere there or an animal of some sorts, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I don't get it, but yeah, I hope there is a fox in the film somehow. That'd be some pretty nice IMDb trivia.
Mm, yeah.
But yeah, I haven't found it either. But
Yeah.
have to keep looking, I guess. But all right, let's move on from No Man's Land and let's go to let's go to you know what, Smith and Jones.
The Club of French Christmas, where I portrayed the elf. Yeah, Smith and Jones. Where do I even start?
Well, tell me about yourself. Tell me about Jones.
Jones is probably my favorite character that I portrayed. Also, the one that I probably did the best job. If I think about it, it was
Yeah,
an extremely fun thing to portray. Not only the character of Smith, but also the things I got to do as the character. I got to eat some ice cream and do some. Uh, Fucking I don't know pop culture references all around, and it was amazing. Uh,
yeah, that's it's a really it's a role full of variety.
mm,
Yeah, definitely. And like he's still a badass, but
yeah,
he has his moments where you could refer to him with the words like dumb and stupid and sleepy,
yeah,
especially. You got to sleep a lot.
yeah. I got to sleep a
At,
lot.
at least the filming days didn't get too tiring for you because you were like constantly sleeping.
Yeah. Uh.
Yeah, and that's something we might want to like dig into a little deeper. Maybe Jones has some sort of sleeping disorder.
Yeah. Some
Yeah, we
Smith
might.
and Jones lore.
Yeah, we might want to look into that in the next season or so.
Uh.
Any fun stories from that we haven't covered yet?
The filming, I assume. Hmm. But I think we've pretty much covered them very well in the Smith and Jones episode. But I guess there's probably something we've missed. I think, but
Yeah.
um, I'm trying to
Okay.
think real hard
Okay.
here.
Pop quiz.
Oh,
This is a Jones pop quiz. Let's see
Okay.
how many. I have a couple of questions, and let's see how many you get
Have
right.
you actually written them down before we
Yeah,
started? What the?
I have written this down last summer. Like
You're...
this is just Jones fact check.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah.
Okay,
Mm. I'm ready.
first name,
Abraham.
the year he was born.
I don't know, like, yeah, are the episodes based on 2021?
Yeah, I guess.
I would say 94.
Born on January 27, 1990, in
Oh,
Converse.
okay.
Uh, yeah,
Holy,
because
he's
you can count it.
31 or 30,
Yeah,
I guess. Huh.
yeah, you can count it because if you know you go to the church camp when you're 14, and
Ah,
we went to
right.
it in 2004.
Mm, right, right, right.
Okay,
Next one.
where did he live as a child?
Chernobyl, Ukraine. Or
Yeah,
Soviet Union, or I
yeah,
guess.
in Pripyat, but that's where Chernobyl is.
Mm.
Uh, what were his four favorite school subjects?
I don't know. Probably some languages or something because we've always said that he's pretty
Yeah, that's one.
multilingual. Is
That's one.
languages just one?
Do you? Yeah, it's one of those. Do you
Okay.
want to? Do you want to take a wild guess at how many languages is Jones fluent in?
I don't know, like a lot.
55. Okay, next question. What does he have a master's degree on from the Technical College of Converse City?
What? Is
What
it
does
is it mentioned in the
no? But you should know
series?
because you've done your character research.
Yeah. You haven't given me anything to work on.
Well, okay, guess.
I don't know. I guess language, etymology, language, history, whatever. I don't
No
know.
handcrafts.
What?
What was his
Okay.
previous occupation?
Mm. Um, I don't know. Bypasser, I
There's
guess.
two.
What? What was it?
There's two. Two
I'm.
of them. One
Oh,
was
there's two.
bum, so you basically got it right. And the other was a bouncer at a bar.
Is
He
that
was fired
mentioned
for
somewhere?
no, he was
Oh,
fired for throwing out well-behaving customers.
okay.
Okay, so in this fourth episode, it's mentioned that he was made a cop by
Yeah,
being
yeah. That's where I got the bypasser from. He was a bypasser, a
yeah.
professional bypasser.
And do you know when he was made detective?
I can't remember the year, but yeah, I know the story.
Yeah, okay. Uh, this says 2016. Um,
Oh,
and then one more. Well, this is just kind of well, this is trivia. This isn't the
okay,
question.
okay.
Jones is colorblind.
Ah, okay.
That might come up handy sometime.
Mm.
What's his catchphrase?
Jones, I don't think, or I think.
Smith, I don't think.
Yeah, Smith. I meant Smith. Yeah.
Yeah. One more question. Which one is older, Smith or Jones?
Well, before I would have said Smith, but considering that, I'd still say Smith.
It is Jones.
It is Jones. Okay. How
Yeah,
by how much?
5 months.
Okay. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, but that was fun.
Yes, a fun pop quiz here.
Yeah, we should do this more often,
Yeah,
like in the
I
podcast.
should do this for every quest and embarrass them by like
Yeah,
giving some very impossible uh,
yeah.
questions.
All right. Yeah. Anything more about Jones or Smith and Jones as a whole?
I think we went through all of it in the Foxway podcast.
Yeah. All right. let's move on to another big character of yours. Like this is one of your most prominent roles.
What?
Why is that Mira Courtenay?
Ah, of course. Mm.
Yeah, like tell me about portraying Courtenay, who's just very like old school. Well, he's old, but like he's a really classic boss character. Like, but yeah, tell me.
I talk a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
you do
I
a
talk
lot of memorizing.
yeah, yeah, especially in well, I was going to say something about the third one, but I
Mhm.
won't.
Yeah,
In these the already published ones, I did a lot of memorizing for the roles. Yeah, I sometimes try to uh pull some sort of a British accent. Well, that wasn't that. I
yeah,
some sort of British accent.
yeah,
And yeah, that's about it. It's just talking the whole role. I don't think there's much to it.
yeah. I wanted to say about the accents because of course, as Whitebrook as well, I'm trying to do like a kind of an aristocratic British accent,
Mm,
but I'm. It's good that we don't overdo it because I think that in the spy genre we should see more of like a generalized accents because spies they're all around the world all the time, so
mm,
they pick up different accents and it's
no,
kind of it all blends together a little bit.
no, I yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think there's too much to talk about Coordinate because I don't have like any too interesting stories about him or anything.
Yeah, he's
Because,
well, that kind of tells the whole story about the character. He does his job and he does it
mm,
well, but he's just firm and he's a supporting character and an important one at that. But
yes.
how did you well now we've finished filming Death to Spies, so you can kind of tell about that experience as well. Like in Rainmaker and in Death to Spies, you were also playing some henchmen. So how have you liked that like classic kind of action, like which is very different from what we do? Like a concrete example, we die differently. Like
Mm,
it's slow and looks more agonizing. I guess
yeah,
it's not so
it's kind of
fast.
fun dying like in different kind of dumb ways, or silly is probably a better word for
Yeah,
it. Uh, yeah, it's certainly fun.
yeah,
The I was going to actually now I talk a bit, just a bit about Death to Spies coordinate thing.
surely. If you don't reveal anything about the plot,
I won't reveal anything about it. I think it went pretty well the whole recording. Also, this was the
the
one.
shoot.
Yeah, the shooting. The because although this was the one time that I didn't pretty much practice any of my lines, I practiced them just a very small bit before we actually went into recording them. In George White Brook Rainmaker and
Shooting,
did I
not
say
filming.
recording at one point?
Yeah,
I didn't even realize I was saying
yeah.
anything
You
like
keep saying it, but I'll keep correcting you until it goes from the
yeah.
backbone.
For in Fourth Line and Rainmaker, in the shooting of those, I I memorized I'd say pretty well my lines, but in this one I didn't. But I still think it went pretty well.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think Death to Spice is your best performance as
ah,
Courtenay.
well,
Like
that's a. I think that just means that I don't have to practice any of my lines anymore. Do any films.
yeah, you're perfect. You
Mm,
just I don't know
I'd agree.
what are you doing hanging around with
Mm.
us? You should be like
Yeah, you're
waiting in
really
line
lucky
for Academy
that I'm
Award.
still here and not working in Hollywood.
Yeah, it might have something to do with that you're 14 years old.
Mm, maybe
Anyhow,
Finland.
okay, so you've played this boss character and you've played some heroes and you've
Mm,
played some um, supporting villains, I guess, like
yeah.
henchmen and stuff. But apart from Civil War, where you played the villain in the fourth one,
Mm,
it's you haven't really played like a new original villain. Like I don't count Eddie because
Mm,
it's you, and Civil War is very different. But yeah,
yeah.
like you haven't really played a villain. Like, would you like to play a real like villain with one of those over the top personas and everything?
Oh hell yeah! Well, that would be such a fantastic thing to play someone, uh, a villain and someone who is kind of ridiculous, as you said, very over the top. Uh,
Yeah,
ooh, it would be amazing. That's
yeah.
probably why I liked playing Smith a lot, because he's a very over the top character, and over the
Or
top
I think you mean
characters.
Jones.
Why am I constantly saying that? Holy, I I don't know.
Smith is me.
Yeah, Jones. I liked playing Jones because he was a very over the top character. I like playing those characters, and
Yeah,
I also like playing villains. It would be absolutely fantastic to play like an over the top villain at one point
yeah,
or
yeah.
another.
Yeah, I kind of brought to mind like a Richard Forsyth from Million
Mm,
Dollar Bill. That was a really like an over the top villain.
mm,
Yeah, and maybe there will be a spot for you in a George Whitebrook film to play like a really old school villain, and those have like those crazy personalities always.
mm,
So yeah,
yeah,
but yeah, you'll get your chance to play some villains soon because as crazy as it sounds like in these crazy times, we're just really like amping up our quantity. Like,
yeah.
I mean, we're always aiming for top quality, but still somehow we're able to amp up the quantity. And yeah, we're about to work on a lot of different like standalone projects soon. So I'm
Like
sure you'll get your shot at being a villain.
no promises, but we yesterday talked about with you, as I said, no promises, that there might be like some months where we actually get like two films out.
Yeah, yeah. It it is seeming like that.
Mm,
But I guess that just comes down to the fact that now that I live so far away and everybody kind of lives so far away, now that we see each other, we really optimize the time.
yeah.
We don't just hang around. We get right down to business. And of course, we well these days, well we kind of like have a more relaxed attitude about it anyway. So it's more fun anyway. But we still like get more out of it
Mm,
still, even though we're not taking it as seriously.
yeah.
We're making better stuff with less effort because like well we've been doing this so far so long that it kind of comes out of the backbone already. Like I say backbone a lot today.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Nonetheless, yeah, a lot of nice stuff is coming soon enough. Okay, talking about nice stuff coming out soon enough. The Iridescent. Last time we talked about this, you already kind of covered your character
Mm,
a little bit, Alex Turner. But now I bet you've done some character studying now that we're closing in on another filming session for the Iridescent. Actually, the production is really like going to full gear now, like because we're filming a lot of scenes soon enough, and yeah, we're gonna be close to finishing the film after like in a few months. It's
mm.
so I guess you've been reading the script a little bit and you've been getting to know your character a little better. Any new thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I read the script once. I've read it once, and I think I talked about that in the Iridescent
Yeah,
podcast. Well, I haven't studied it or anything. I think I've kind of like practiced my lines a bit, or tried to
yeah,
memorize them. I don't mean like I've been to a mirror talking to myself, but I practiced them a bit, and
yeah, and I think like correct me if I'm wrong, but Alex Turner might be an easier role for you to play than some of them. Although, like we've said, there's it's there all of these characters are very complex. But think about this: Alex Turner is probably the closest to your own age of all the
mm,
characters that you played, and it's kind of like a uh, well, without revealing too much about Alex Turner, let's just say that the whole film is kind of violent. So what goes, what comes. But yeah, like I'm not saying that you're like a violent person
mm,
or anything, but if you think about his other qualities, I think like those are something that you can like at least somewhat identify with. Like all of the
Uh,
characters in the iridescent are kind of down to earth,
mm,
somewhat. But yeah, I'd say that's maybe an easier character to play in that sense. Of course, there's a lot
uh,
of stuff to remember and a lot of emotions to display. But
yeah. Uh, yeah, it's easy. It's definitely easier to play characters that you can identify with. And that's especially kind of going back to the topic before. That's why it's often hard to portray over the top characters. Uh,
yeah,
but it, it's fun, and I'm
yeah,
sure it will be fun. When I get to be Turner again.
yeah, and we'll probably have a lot more to say about that then after
Mm,
like the next session because like I said earlier in the last episode, I guess like we have about 30% of the film shot, like,
yeah.
and I expect to double that in a month's time.
Mm,
So yeah, we're gonna have a lot more done then.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, all right. Uh, we'll talk about that a lot later.
Uh,
But yeah, tell me, top
you still
three,
have topics like
quite a
written
lot
down
more.
topics.
Well,
How?
I actually have two things, but I have
Okay.
some
Well,
things that I also wanna mention.
still, holy. You should just be doing this.
Maybe.
Go
And
ahead.
yeah. Uh, tell me your top three favorite filming memories.
Uh,
Just stuff that has happened, or like a funny thing, or maybe a sad thing, maybe some accidents or whatever. But whatever you like have on the top of your head.
my favorite. Well, now I'm not going to try and do a top three. I will just be saying some that just come to my mind. One
Go
thing
ahead.
that I firstly always remember was the uh, filming my scenes in End of the Line,
Yeah,
because
I knew
b
it.
it was really hard somewhere to say the word coffee. It was
Yeah, I remember
very hard
that.
for me to say
Yeah,
coffee, and also kind of just hand out a coffee pot. It was really
yeah.
hard for me, and we
Do
took
you
like,
remember
I
that
don't know,
line by
20
heart?
takes. What? I'm sorry. What?
Do you remember that line by heart?
What? Coffee? Yeah. Or what line do you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, I remember it was like the delivery was really hard. Like, you know, coffee, and I have like 40 clips on my computer
Of me
of my
just saying
brother
coffee.
saying coffee in 40 different ways. That's what you should make an extras video about.
Oh. Mm.
I looked that up. I
Yeah,
looked for clips
if
like
you have those, you must send them to me, because I can
that.
actually
Yeah,
make a video about that. Just
yeah.
just that one
Because
scene.
so I have this like a bad feeling that we had some memory card trouble back then, and we
Mm.
removed some of the stuff from the card to have room for more stuff.
Yeah.
I hope those were not a part of that removal, but yeah.
Mm.
Okay, more.
Uh, hold on. I'm trying to scroll through here. Civil War 4. Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
a fun experience. We covered
yeah,
that.
sure. Uh, Perfect. Well, this is kind of a. I might as well talk
You
about
might
this a
as
bit.
well.
Uh, the Striker Ascension. I was a part of that film. I was one henchman. It was like a
Yeah,
3 hour recording session. I did a 2 minute
shooting
part there,
or filming.
shooting, and I did like a 2 minute part there, and then just kind of stood around the forest there. It was kind of
Oh yeah, yeah. You play the one henchman, and then we go deep into the forest to film the fight between
mm,
Thomas and Eric. And then I just look over my shoulder, and Eddie's just standing there in the same spot. And he was there for an hour.
I don't think
Ah,
I don't think I even did any filming there.
no, yeah, probably, yeah. It was all me, I think. Yeah, you might have held the camera when I I got no. That was probably Thomas as well. Yeah, you probably did nothing there.
I was just that one henchman. My role was important, integral to the movie.
Yeah, but hey, it's one of the coolest kills from
Oh
last
yeah,
year.
it's actually a cool kill. So yeah, that was all worth it.
Yeah, and
Definitely.
I'd say it's probably my favorite kill from Eric so far. So
Mm, yeah. Uh.
although the although the Desert Eagle kills are, well, he has a couple of really nice kills in that movie.
Mm, yeah.
But okay, uh, anything else?
The club. I don't think there's really
Hey, but
too.
yeah, you can tell this story because it's
What?
fun because
What?
it was
Which
kind
one?
of your first role.
Yeah. 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 I mean, yeah. Actually, that's the first thing I've actually recorded as a actual
Film.
role. What? Oh. Oh.
I'll help you
The
through it.
the first role I've filmed. Uh, I think so. It's probably even before end of the line, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot before.
Yeah. I portrayed the president's kid.
Yeah,
Uh, well, yeah, there's nothing much to it, but I just kind of stood there scared. And yeah, as we've talked about this before, half of the movie was recorded in
shot.
2018. Holy fuck! Do, I I'm trying so
I know,
hard, and every
I know.
time
It's all good.
uh, we recorded half in 2018, right?
We shot half of it. You did it again.
We shot half of it in 2018, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, and we
Say it together.
shot, and we
And we
shot
shot.
the other half in 2020, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, and
Yeah, and yeah, it's we shot like only a little bit for you in 2020, but
yeah,
it's still like we masked it pretty well. But you have a
y-
buzz cut and
yeah,
you've grown by 2 feet,
yeah,
and
the kind of problem was that uh in the part we shot in 2018, I had a very long hair, like hair maybe. Well, it reached my
shoulder length.
shoulders. Yeah, shoulder
Yeah.
length hair. And in the 2020 part we shot, it was. Oh, now I love that word. Uh, I had a very short hair. A very short hair. So
Yeah.
it had to kind of be
It
recorded.
was a buzz
The 2020 parts had to be recorded so that
shot.
oh fuck I had a good streak. I had a good streak.
Yeah, you said it was already.
Yeah. Uh we had to shoot it like that my only my face was seen and not my
Yeah,
hair. And it was
yeah.
kind of
It's
hard
kind of
but
only your back, and
yeah. It was kind of hard but we made it work.
yeah, yeah, it worked nicely.
Uh yeah, anything else? The Club of Friends Christmas. Oh yeah, the elf is of course a legendary
Yeah,
role.
yeah. No, yeah, that was fun.
Peak of cinema. Jackstone Class. No, I wasn't in that. Well, yeah, Smith and Jones. There's a lot of stories from that.
Yeah, I
Well,
think we covered those
yeah,
already.
we covered those pretty well. I think in Master of Death, I don't think there were anything to.
Yeah, it was just
Uh,
fun to film a boxing
uh,
scene on Boxing Day.
oh yeah.
That's a funny story. I always say that.
Mm, right.
But all right, maybe that's your favorite filming memories. There's a couple of really good stories, and maybe like we have to do a story time video. I kind of
Mm,
plan beforehand, like what stories we want to tell and
yeah.
how. But because we have plenty of filming stories for sure.
Mm,
All right. Well, I have one more thing. I just wanted to ask, like we've announced a couple of new projects, and also like we've kind of teased some. But tell me, what are you looking forward to working on? Like just is it announced or not? You can tell me what would you like to work on, and what are some, like I said, now that we are looking to amp up our production quantity. Like tell me what kind of projects would you like to do?
Well, there's a one single project that I want to do. I need to beep its name out here because I have to say it. I don't really know how I could explain it, but I'm really looking forward to shooting. Yeah, I'll probably beep that out for now, but
Yeah, yeah, do that. But it's gonna be a fun one, and it's very different
yeah, that
as well.
I'm actually kind of excited about that one because it seems like a really good idea.
Yeah,
I mm,
I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be good. And I was actually like writing down some ideas for it
yeah,
earlier, and I was just yesterday actually. Uh,
mm,
yeah,
yeah,
we're probably gonna talk about that after this is over. But yeah, you'll have to peep it out for this.
yeah.
God
I'll
damn,
beep it out.
we're such teasers. Like really, like people listen to this and they're like listening, and then they go beep, and God damn it, you could have at least told us the name if you're not gonna give us anything else.
Yeah. Uh, anything else? Club 2 was announced, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Club 2 was announced, but
Oh yeah,
I
the
I walk back on that a little bit. It's
mm,
not gonna come out as soon as I said it
yeah,
would because there's been some setbacks on that. But
yeah.
it's still it's in pre-production and it will
Mm,
be out one day or another. But we were also talking about this with Alex, and he agreed with me that we were maybe like rushing it a little bit as well.
mm,
Like like the club is such a celebratory movie, like it doesn't need a sequel right away, but it definitely deserves a sequel, but it definitely deserves a good sequel.
yeah.
So we have some more work to do on that before, and now we just, like as far as big projects go, we need to focus on the iridescent. So
Okay, a third big
more about
project.
that later.
A third big project, which I want to say, I can't say absolutely anything about it. But the
No, you
next
cannot.
actual big project, yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm excited for that. That's all you get to hear from it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
I
really
I won't
excited about
I
that.
won't say another word about that
Yeah,
until the
neither will
iridescent
I.
is out,
Neither will I.
because I want to focus on that now.
Mm,
But yeah, it's they're all gonna be good. Let's just say that
yeah,
everything we talk about here that is about to come out or will come out sometime in the years to come, it's gonna be good.
yeah.
You are just beginning to witness our true power.
Mhm. Yeah, I I'm honestly kind of we're doing so well because like I think that
Oh,
because we're currently pushing out more and more videos, better quality every time, and like we're now getting to actually filming these big bigger projects because v- mostly our films except for the Jack Stone. Actually, yeah, only the Jack
yeah,
Stone films have ever been more than 20 minutes. Oh,
yeah,
Nicholson, and there's some that have been like 2 minutes
yeah.
or something longer than
But
20
yeah,
minutes.
I know what you mean.
But we're actually now getting into recording many other projects
Shooting.
that shooting that are actually longer. And
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of fun, and we're still able to do the short ones on the side.
mm, yeah,
That's pretty cool. And now when we talk about short ones, it's not that we're doing like 2 minute films. Like we're pushing out
yeah,
15-minute films every month now. And then
yeah,
when we talk about longer films, we're actually talking feature length.
yeah.
All
Hmm.
right, that's all I have. That's all he wrote on his notes in Google Docs.
Mm. Well,
Yeah, do you wanna advertise something?
oh, of course, my favorite part. Uh, I might gain something from this. Eddie Cole play stuff.
Sure.
That is my channel. My
Yeah, it
personal
is.
channel. Uh, I yeah, I make videos there. I'm currently pretty active. I make like a video uh once a week there or something like that. It's mostly just gaming and sometimes music that I use in my videos, and
Yeah.
yeah,
You
that's a
make for your videos.
yeah what I make for my videos.
Yeah,
Uh,
you have to mention that because that's pretty cool.
yeah, I make the music for my videos from now on. I've used to do that for like a couple months now,
Yeah.
and yeah. Also, I've done some music for Foxway Extras also.
Yeah.
Uh,
You have.
but yeah, other than that, well, my Instagram, I guess, Eddie Cole Pictures stuff. It's the same as Eddie Coldplay stuff, but just replace it with Eddie Cole Picture stuff. I don't have any images there, but maybe if I get enough followers, I might post something.
Yeah.
And then, of course, well, you're on Foxway Extras, yeah, that's my second channel. But Foxway Studios, go check that out.
Yeah. You should.
Yeah.
All right. Is that all?
Yep, that's all.
Okay. Well, I've been Tony Cole. This has been the Foxway Studios podcast. It has been fun being your host today, but next time we're back to Eddie Cole as your man of the
Mm,
moment.
yes.
Like you like that for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Thank you for joining us, and you say it.
Goodbye.